Welcome to the Wisdom Inside Out podcast. Welcome to the Wisdom Inside Out podcast. I'm so thrilled to have a special friend of mine. We have met at Jay Shetty School, and since the day I met him, he's always been inspiring. I have learned a lot of wisdoms from him. He is a remarkable individual, a beautiful soul, heart, inside out, and not just that, he also have over 20 years experience in a corporate leadership, general executive manager at McDonald's, and he is an extraordinary life coach. I have a lot of sessions with him and I have learned a lot of his wisdom, and I'm so grateful to have him here with me today. And today we're going to dive in a few different topics, such as true confidence, the ego, the soul, the connections between our body, our mind, and our soul, how to build healthy mindset and habit, and how do we apply manifesting gratitude into our daily life. We learn about the power of forgiveness and the power of our mind, and also, the most importantly, the mindfulness and awareness. I think that's the foundation, and he will dive in and explain how important it is for us to go through this every day. And let's dive in and inspired by Sachin Kaintura, and let's learn together to live a fully life that is really living, really loving, really learning, leading and liberating together. Welcome, Sachin.
Thank you so much, Leena, for that warm welcome. It was really overwhelming. We are here, so thank you very much for giving me this space and inviting me to this podcast. And I'm grateful and honored that you saw in that opportunity and to be part of this podcast. So I'm so grateful and I'm blessed to be surrounded like-minded people like yourself. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for giving me such a brief intro. I'm so overwhelmed. So thank you.
No, I think you're really inspiring. Like even during our session, we're starting the conversation about recording and stuff. I feel like I learned so much from you, and you've always been inspiring me to keep moving forward. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Sachin, I just want to start with the first question, true confidence. I know if you ask a lot of people, everyone will have a lot of definitions for true confidence. Can you tell me what does it mean to you, and how can we cultivate this true confidence?
Great question, Leena. So for me, true confidence, before I dive into it, I just want to share a little bit about me, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So my background, I immigrated from India, came to New Zealand almost 19-20 years back, and as every immigrant does, working so hard, providing, these, as I always said, the roof, shelter, and the clothing for our family. That's where my headspace was, and I was always like this. I only wanted to do, provide for my family, and I didn't know exactly how the life. So I've been working 20 plus years. I've always been hardworking. Some of the values which my parents, I inherited from them, like giving respect to people, being honest, being authentic, and always empathetic towards people. So I did those values, which was really great. However, within me, I was missing out on something deep within me from past 6-7 years, because I was looking for my purpose, and the purpose was, what exactly am I doing? Like, I've given the roof, shelter, and the clothing for my family, but what's next? So that's where my journey was, and I was looking for my purpose, and being part of the coaching which I'm doing, and I found my purpose. My purpose to give it back to the people, and always wanted to help out in a way and inspire people. And again, why I'm sharing that journey, again answering to your question, what is true confidence? Because true confidence is the self-trust which is rooted inside us. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our wisdom, what is within us, and we have to dig deep to find out what exactly we need. And the true confidence will only come out the real you, what you want to achieve or what you want to give it out to the people. It's not about sometimes we look for validation from the people. Okay, what everyone's going to say, how they're going to say. Some of the things we do it to ourselves, embracing failure from the feedback which we receive from other. Like there are a lot of things, right? So exactly what we have to do, first we have to practice self-confidence by seeing, how I put it this way, you don't have to see the outer world, you have to see your inner world within you to see what you can do and dig deep within yourself to find out who you really are. And when you know who you really are, and without looking for the people outside, what are they going to talk to you, or the validation part which I just shared. So it's just true confidence is basically you just go out there, find your inner peace, what you want to bring it out to the people. And then, because lots of time people will say, oh, I'm very self-confident person, I can do and talk about it and everything. But for me, exactly, true confidence, it's not that, okay, you're going out and talking to the people, but true confidence is digging deep inside you and finding your inner peace. And how can you go out and share how you are going to deliver art to the world, and what is the difference you're going to make it to the world.
That's beautiful, Sachin. Yeah, I think I can deeply resonate with you, like as an immigrant coming to Australia, coming from a poor country. For so long that I lived a life searching for external validation to fill in the gap that I never looked within, and I never tried to align what's within and the outside. So it's always a mismatch, and that's why I always feel there's something missing. So for me now, it's like a true confidence is when you align what is inner and the outside the same. Like even though you go eat outside by yourself, you still find peace. Even though you go watch the movie by yourself, you still find peace. You don't have to rely on external things to bring the joys to you. Yeah, so, and it's so powerful because when you start looking within and align that, everything else around you will just fall in place, even though your situation doesn't change. But, I truly believe that, like a lot of people say, Leena, you're going through cancer, how could you live much more happier? But the minutes that I start looking within and aligning my purpose, my wisdoms, it's the relationship when the relationship with myself changed, it's changed the relationship with my husband and kids and everyone around me as well. And this is why I'm having this podcast to invite everyone to join this journey with me. I was like a fish in the water before. I thought I was doing okay. People looking from outside, I have a decent life. But until I experienced this, I was like, guys, you shouldn't miss this out. This is so beautiful, and give it a go. It's life is too short, and let's join this journey together. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sachin. We can't talk about true confidence without mentioning about ego. Can you explain a little bit for us, our audience, to understand what is the difference between ego and soul, and how does it play or impact our relationship in making decisions every day?
Oh, great question. So ego and soul, they're actually part of us, but there are two different sides. Like, how I said, two coins, like, head and tail, it's different. So ego, it's your voice of fear, separation, and self-preservation. So what ego does is, again, as I shared about the confidence, ego, it's the outer world, it's outer validation. It's sort of fear. Okay, if I do something, what the person's going to think about me, how they're going to perceive myself, what are they going to say if I do certain things. So ego for me is like, again, it's sort of fear within you. You want to impress people on, okay, I'm good at this, I'm doing this. But exactly that ego sometimes it doesn't serve you well moving forward. However, when you talk about the soul, so soul is your inner peace. It's your inner self. That's like, what exactly soul knows, how you're doing certain things. So I'll just give an example. So like, if you're going out somewhere and you're doing certain things, it's good or bad, your ego is going to say it's okay, you go ahead and do it. However, your soul knows if it's wrong thing, then your soul must be always tells us, no, this is not the right thing you're doing. But then ego always comes ahead of us and tells us, no, just do it anyway. What is it going to have? So they are interlinked. However, if I have to say, if you have to choose between ego and soul, I'll say choose soul, because that's your true alignment within you, and because your soul always tells you and leads you to the direction, in terms of your relationship, in your decision making. So when you're in your relationship or when you want to make certain decision, always keep that ego aside, right? And don't go with your ego, because that ego is always comes with the fear, self-judgment from the people. You just have to keep that aside. Think from your soul, right? Think from your soul, think from within you, see how you want to perceive things, and be empathetic, be truthful to yourself, get connected to your inner self, inner wisdom, and see, then the decision we're going to make and moving forward, it will be always different. And when we make any decision or any relationship, keeping the ego in our head or ego taking our ego with us, it's always going to be not the right things to do. But it depends on the person. Sometimes keeping that ego, people might think, oh, it's good things to do, you go ahead and do it. However, the soul will tell us, no, that's not the right thing. So you have to choose between ego and soul. But always, for me, and my advice will be, keep ego aside and think from your soul.
That's beautiful. I know the audience probably, because ego, a lot of people would think this is arrogant, or no, this is a term that we use maybe in spiritual, and this is in psychology world. It's not the ego, arrogant personality. This is we're talking about our inner voice. Like if you notice and pay attention, we always have these two voices inside of us. And that's why we call one is the ego voice, one is the soul voice. So, Sachin, one more question regarding to ego. How do we know? Like, for me, before, I would just say everything is me. I can't separate what is ego, what is soul. So, for you to explain a little bit more, how do you know that I'm in ego state? How do I know which one I'm in soul state? Can you explain a little bit more of that, or maybe just a few examples?
Yeah, sure. So ego, as an example, you're going out, you're meeting your friends, and sometimes like you'll say, oh, I want to say certain things to the people. So ego for me, like when you go out there, you need to go yourself, as in who you really are, not to impress them, because our ego will tell us, okay, how you want to look in front of them, right? The first thing we always look at, how am I looking? How am I going to be presentable? And sometimes if they will say certain things to you and you'll be nodding your head towards that, oh yes, right? When your soul is telling you this is not right. So could be they'll say, oh, I've seen this thing, can you elaborate more? Or you basically you're just saying yes to everything, whatever they're saying. You're just saying, even they're saying something wrong or something which is not aligning to your values or anything, but it's different for them and it's different for you. But we always see people, as I said, ego is all about validation. So you'll say yes. If you want to make them happy, your ego will say yes. Just say yes. It doesn't matter what your soul says it. But when you know your truth purpose, as I said, when you go out there with who you really are, without being judgmental, without saying how you see, just you don't need to dress well or dress to impress anyone. You dress what you like. You dress the way you would like people to see or perceive, not see or perceive yourself, but just go as natural who you really are, without being judgmental to the people. Don't think that how they're going to see you, what are they going to talk about you. And if somebody says something, if you don't agree, you have a right to say to them, right? Your ego will say yes, but your soul is saying no, that's not true. So this is where you should know. So answering your question, when would you know whether your ego is coming ahead or your soul? It's just the awareness, because you should be aware when you think the people validations comes in. That's what it. So when people validation, why does it come? Again, all the fear, all this thing behind, like, which you have. So this is where it comes down to fear, suppression, self-preservation. But when it comes to your soul, what is lovingly, what is your purpose, what is going to be peaceful to you, that's what the difference is. So hope that answers your questions.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah. I just want to add a little bit more. Like for me, I feel like I didn't know the difference between ego and soul before. And so for now, like for me to know, like ego and soul is a different feeling. So ego usually is coming from a place of fears, scarcity. It's the conditions that we were put on, or the limiting belief that we were put on when we were a childhood. Due to our, people say small T trauma. It's because of the way our brain was so small at a very young age, and we can't process the information in a skillful way. So we process it kind of in a negative way, such as I'm not good enough, such as I'm not smart enough, or, all this limiting belief. That was because our little brain, when we were smaller, we didn't know how to process the information in a skillful way. So you are processed it in a not healthy way, and that's why you have all these limiting beliefs. So you growing up, manifest in adulthood, you're coming from a place of needing, like, I need to dress up because I want people to look at me beautiful. So it's coming from a place of inner lack, or I need something to fill in something, where the soul is coming a place of loving and kindness. So it's coming from a whole place, a place that you always want to give. Like if you have a party or something, I'm so looking forward to the people, how I'm going to have fun with them. It's just all about this feeling of love and kindness, where the ego is like the need to control, the need to compare, the need to stay the same. I have a touch to this way, that way, it's not a going with the flow. So soul is like, even though you know that my English is not good, you just laugh and own up for it. It's just like welcome everything in a love and kindness way, where ego is like, you always have to prove. Yeah.
And if I have to phrase it in one word, your ego is your scarcity mindset, and your soul is your your loving,
Grow.
caring mindset. And growth mindset. That's what
the grow mindset. Yeah. And why, like, I just want to add a little bit more when you say, like, if you would choose the soul, because if you follow the ego, you understand the mind, it just try to protect us from dangerous, like, if you're in the jungle attacked by the tiger, but we're not in this environment anymore. Yes, we may need that when we were young, but over 18, we become an adult. We're not in that unsafety environment anymore. And this is why if you follow ego, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be happy. Yes, you may be safe, but you're not going to be evolving, because our human nature, we need to grow and evolve. Just like, when you do something by yourself without people help and you got the result, you feel so proud of yourself. Then someone is helping you and you don't really feel proud of yourself because you didn't do any effort, kind of thing. So it's sometimes you can't just measure by doing the hard work, but it's how you feel inside about yourself. We can go on a lot more about this topic.
Yeah, I know. there are, it's like whenever you see people and when you talk about them, it's sometimes, it's all about them, and sometimes they want to put themselves out there. Oh, it's me. But when you take your me out and see the different layer of it, it's a different side. So the me is your ego, right? This is where you have to keep it aside and move forward.
Yeah, it's simple as that. Like, how, if you feel, if it's doesn't feel good. Let's just like take example like lying. Ego tell you to lie, and your soul will tell you you don't do it. That's why you feel guilty, and that's why you're not going with the flow. You try to control, and like it will lead you to when it started from an ego mindset, it usually will lead to a not so happy. Yes, you might have a short-term pleasure, but it's not a long-term happiness or evolving. So, yeah. Please, guys, if you feel like you're interested in this topic, you want me to invite Sachin more to elaborate a little bit more on this topic, please like and comment below like how you think about this topic, or you can share if you have any experience regarding to this. We would love to hear more from you guys. And yeah, just moving on to the connection between our body, our mind, and our soul. You will hear a lot of the word soul from us because it's something we really value, which soul to us is mean the higher self. It's the spirit. We don't just talking about just the body, because we believe that the inner world is the drive of the external world, and this is why we focus on the inner a lot. And this is why I called my podcast Inside Out, is because I believe everything is coming from within and radiated out. And this is why you probably will hear the word souls a lot in our conversations. So how are the body and soul interconnected, and how does it impact us every day, Sachin?
Oh, you asked me the great question, because this is one thing I've been working from so many years. So thank you very much. For me, everything is all about mind, body, and soul. So I use the affirmation: my mind is brilliant, my body is healthy, and my soul is calm. And why I'm saying it always filters through. And I take that analogy as mind, body, soul. They are your friends. You have to treat them as friend. And when your mind is struggling with something, like if you have sort of fear, or if you got any anxiety, if you got you're going to work and you feel a bit overwhelmed, so then you have to design your mind, body, soul in a way that they're supporting. So like for me, what I usually do, if my mind is doing something different, it's not in the alignment, it's having misaligned in a way, so I'll tell myself, okay, body and soul, your friends, let's cheer mind up. If my body feels a little bit like not bit tiring and it's not in the way, so I'll say mind and soul, let's cheer the body up. And if soul for some reason is not happy or thinking, oh, what's going to happen, then I'll say mind and body, let's cheer the soul up. So it's all those things in the alignment. And when you work from the top all the way, this is how the true transformation happens. And this is you being in the present, how you see the world. It's always going to be the different way. So the mind, body, and soul, for me, it's everything. What you do, everything. So how we just talked before about ego and soul, your self-confidence. It's all your mind, body, soul. So if your mind is telling your body, or your ego is on your way, so then your soul should know, okay guys, no, please keep your ego aside. And if your body is going to, as you said, like lying, or you're saying something, then mind and soul should say, guys, no, this is not the right thing, you shouldn't say this. So it's all these things has to be in alignment, and you have to work on your mind, you have to work on your body, you have to work on your soul. So how do you work on your mind? You have to read lots of books. Read lots of books. Surround yourself with the positive people. How do you work on your body? Do workout. If you like swimming, go swimming, go for walk. Do whatever, right? And to your soul, for soul, do a meditation. And this is one thing, or do a breathing exercise. That has helped me a lot. If I feel any sort of sometime, like when you're working and you got so many things going on your mind, or you're so busy doing things, you're not giving rest to your body, and then when all these are not in alignment, your soul will say, guys, something is not right. So this is this is how you need to I say it's called reprogramming. You need to program yourself, keeping your mind, your body and soul all in alignment, and work towards it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I used to didn't think they were they were aligned. I used to just focus on my body, but I thought no one can see my mind, and I don't even know much about the soul. So I was like, I just focus on these external things, and I love it how you bring it's like they are one, like they are together as a one team. You need to get your team to be working for you, because if you see it as separate, then your team is not strong. So it's like they all connected. Let's just say if you feel that I'm not good enough, starting from your mind, believing you're not good enough, it will create the emotion. It's not good emotions, right? It doesn't give you a good feeling. And then it will lead to your physical body actions. Like you don't want to go out, you don't want to see people, you don't want to try new tasks. It's like all these steps. But if you get it aligned, you're like, okay, you need to motivate, or I am good enough. Like you said, self-affirmations. I'm good enough. It triggers your emotions. And then when you feel like you're good enough, straight away you feel good. And then it's triggered your body actions. Like, I'm ready to take a bit more challenge because I feel good. I'm going to get out of the house more, seeing more new things, more people. So this is how powerful it is if you can align them three together. And I know a lot of people, they know that they focus on physical body. Yes, it is important. We do need this body. I see it like a car that can take us to places, but our mind and our soul is just like the driver. Without the driver, you probably will feel stuck or something like that. So it's also, you need to pay attention to your mind and our soul to have a healthy mind and soul. And like Sachin said, listen or watch podcasts, read book, do a lot of maybe meditations or anything. Feel free if you have any new ideas, or you can share with our audience so we can learn from each other. Put in the comments below. And I just want to move on to mindset and habit. Since we're already talking about, the mind, the soul, we need to talk about the mindset and how important it is and how it's created. How does habit build, and how can we apply the power of notice, shift, and rewire to change our daily habits?
Good question. So I think your questions are so great, and it goes all in hand, the conversation which you are having. And I see habit and mindset again go in hand. However, I always think the mindset has to, for me, mindset is like what is your mind and set of things you do. So when you say habit, it's like what are the things you do, set of things or habit you create to rewire your mind or do your mind. So what is mindset? So I said mindset, there are two types of mindset. One is fixed mindset and one is growth mindset. So what is fixed mindset? Fixed mindset, I take an example. Say if there's raining today and you have a pond of water just sitting in the small pond, it's not flowing. And if you go and see that water after few days or few months, and you will agree that if you see that water is going to get moldy or dirty if it stays in the same pond for so many months or year, right? And similarly, if I talk about the growth mindset, so the same water, it's flowing through the river. So what happens when the water throws to the river? It's flowing, it's going, it meeting lots of challenges, it will have different waves it has to go through. It might hit on the rock, it might hit on the pebbles, it might find so many things while it's on the river. However, it's flowing. So I'm taking that water as our mind. So if our mind is fixed, if you're seeing just this and you're not doing anything with your mind and you're stagnant and you're in one place, then the fixed mindset is not going to help you. However, if you see the growth mindset, where you will have lots of challenges like learning in your way, but you're growing. Each day you're growing. So if you have a growth mindset, this is what it's going to take you move forward in your life. And how do you create like fixed mindset to growth mindset? You have to build your habit. So one book I would highly recommend on this podcast is Atomic Habit. So, and what I would recommend, you have to read this book not once, twice, three times, because it talks about cue, craving, reward, and response. And one of the things I do have it, and it on this book it talks about stacking habits. So one thing I would suggest to the listener and whoever is watching this podcast or listening this podcast, that how do you stack habits? So as an example, I do one thing in the morning. As soon as I wake up the bed, I do my journaling, and when I'm out of there, before going to the toilet, I'll just do 20 push-ups. I'll do 20 squat. So sometimes people will say we don't have a time, or I don't have a good habit. But it's not about having good or bad habit. It's how you want to do small step at a time. If you got a big goal and you want to have a smaller steps in place, I'll say, okay, you have to grow your mindset. What are the habits you're going to build towards that mindset? So this is the book I would recommend. Read that out, and it's all the small step you take day in, day out. And to build a habit, say an example, if you want to work on your body and you are lazy to go to gym, what can you do at home? Being at home, like as soon as you're out, just do 2 squat, 2 push-up. Start with 2 minutes, then gradually go 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and at least if you not go to the gym, don't even do, at least make an effort to go. So these are the small habits which you can build towards your body. And when we are talking about the mind, so what can you do about the mind and to create a mindset? Read start a paragraph to start with, then go 2 paragraphs, then go a page, gradually build those habits. So these are some of the things you can do to create a good mindset and some of the good habits.
That's really beautiful. Yes, I love that book as well. I was like, I'm so grateful. I remember when I first time reading a few chapters, I'm so grateful to read this book. It makes it so easy to understand, and it's so true every time I read about it, and how he analyzed why we build those habits, why is it hard. It's just something that I learned is that if you want it to happen, make it easy access, make it attractive, but if you don't want it to happen, make it harder to access. So, and I love it how you mentioned about stacking the habit. It's because as human, our body is so smart. It builds muscle memory, it builds autopilot. When we do things at a certain time, long enough, it remember by itself. And then if you already have that habit, and this is why you're never going to forget to brush your teeth, because you do it so long already. And this is why stacking, when you attach the information between brushing your teeth with a new information, it's easier for you to remember. You don't have to remember a whole new information. You are now remember, brushing your teeth is like pushing up time or something like that. For me, it's I will attach with because of my cancer journey, the chemo, it's been 2 years that I always exercise in the morning. So I add my meditation and I add my meditation 10 minutes before my exercise. And then after my exercise, I will do try to do my creative ideas, what I have to plan for my podcast or things. Mindset and the habit is very important, because a good mindset will take you to evolving and growing, and human, we need that to make our life truly purpose and happy. Because I find if you have a scarcity mindset, yes, you might stay the same, but you will feel there's something missing. You will feel burnout throughout the way. And habit is very important, as I mentioned about our autopilot of our body, how smart is our body, have that muscle memory. This is why every little small thing counts over time. So if you want to read a book, it doesn't have to be read it straight away. Just have a book next to you. Just create that habit of always have a book your view in your easy to access. And when you easy to access, just have to read one chapter or just one page. As long as it's all about taking actions. Without action, it's just like you have no bridge to move anywhere between where you are and where you want to go. You can't close that gap. And if you are struggles, if you need help, I'm not just to promote be a life coach, but I feel like we can help. I used to think that, I'm perfect fine, my mindset is fine, I don't need a life coach. But now that I'm doing like a life coach and trauma healer therapist, I feel like everyone needs to have at least one life coach or therapist to help them with their mindset and their limiting belief. Because think about it, even the most famous athletic, they still hire a coach. Even Oprah Winfrey, she has so many, she's already, her mindset's already up there. She still have 4 coaches, so it's just someone to point out, show you the blind spot that you don't even know. And that's like a car. How many mirrors do we need to actually see, to have a clear vision to keep ourselves safe? This is our life. Like, I know it's not cheap, but I'm sure if you really want it and you really value it, you can afford it. It's just like we afford, for me in the past, afford an LV bag, Chanel bag, or Hermes bag. So, yes, I really highly recommend it.
And it's great you shared that, Leena, because what happened, and I have always a saying, because we always look at the outer world and we don't invest in ourselves. The best investment you can do to yourself is, invest on yourself. As exactly you said, you want to travel around the world, you want to do, but if you want to grow, like from fixed to growth mindset, you want to work on your mind, body and soul, the best thing you can do, read lots of books, attend the workshop. And as exactly if you see what is coach role in your life, or like if you guys play any sports, like if you look at rugby, cricket or soccer, right, what coach does, he'll help you to prepare. He doesn't tell you what, he doesn't go and, like if you take an example of soccer, your coach won't come on the field to show you, oh, this is how you kick the ball, show this around. And what his role is, he's working on your back end. He'll teach you all the skills, all the mindset, how to tackle the ball, how to kick the ball, how to pass the ball. But ultimately the goal of yours, when you go on the field and play around, so that's where the coach is very important, because coach will teach you, guide you through the process and how you want to work on your life. So that's why the coach is important. And we are not saying, I'm not saying, go to Leena, whosoever you can go, right? Just get help you do need. And so my advice to all the viewers would be, hire somebody who can guide you through the process and basically invest on you rather than investing on anything else. The best investment you can make on yourself.
Definitely spot on that, because if you were to look at and listen to a lot of successful out there, they say if you don't have much, invest in yourself. Especially with mindset that your character, your personality, your wisdom is something that no one can steal it from you. It's not like you have a bag or anything that one day they will be taking away. That will be with you until your last breath. So, and the quality of your life is so important. Like we wanna, we invest in like insurance on car. How about us? Like how you gonna make sure that you going to live that happy and growing and coming from a whole place? It's very important. Yeah. So feel free to leave any comment if you can resonate with this topic and share what have you learned from your mindset, or highly recommend to support our community. The purpose of me having this wisdom is all about growing together.
Thank you for watching the video. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the Wisdom Inside Out channel.